Welcome to the Model Car Hobby Headquarters Unpodcast with your host, Luca C. Now here he is, Luca C.
Well, hello, my fellow car maulers. How you doing today? I've got a really cool guest. I've been trying to get this guy on for a while. He's an old friend of mine, and he's a YouTuber up and coming. I want you to check his channel out if you haven't. And if you don't know this face here, this is my buddy Pat Redmond from the Great White North up there, eh?
Hey,
Pat. Hey, how's it going, eh? For the rest of the show, that's how we'll talk, eh?
Okay.
How's it going, Pat? Thanks for coming on.
Sorry it took so long with just technical difficulties and whatever else. Here I am.
Excellent, and that's all it takes. Hey, you know, and we're at our back. You know, I kind of haven't shaved. I kind of got the Jeremiah Johnson look going today. I looked at myself when we started going. Geez, I could have groomed a little bit. Nothing but the best for you, Pat. That's how I feel.
Well, I feel honored. I really do.
Yeah, this is great. Yeah, I figure, you know, let's talk about you and talk about your, you know, like I said, everyone, I go way back with Pat. He was a customer of mine when I had my resin casting, and he has been, you see his name on the producer scroll. He's been a producer. How long have you been a producer? Like almost 2 years, I think.
Yeah, I was going to say about a year and a half.
Yeah,
and I have no trouble contributing.
I love it. And it's the money that is so appreciable. What I love about my producers is how I try. I like to engage with everybody. I listen to my producers. That's what I call them. You've given me great ideas. I love your input. Like when I had Brandon Johnson on. So this is also my way of thanking you for all your support you've given me. Not only that, and back in my resin casting, buying my garbage that I used to make,
you're welcome,
and talking nice about me. But we used to be on old message boards together, NASCAR boards, and talk about NASCAR garbage.
Randy Ayers board, and
the old Randy Ayers. So when we made that connect, when you discovered who I was, it was pretty cool. And of course, we have a connection pretty tight that we're pretty involved support with Salvino's JR models. We really love that company, and we are in their builders club together. So
absolutely,
that's us. And I want to talk about Pat's channel. He's got a channel he's getting going, and I think he has a lot to offer. Like you told me, you have a face for radio, and he does. He speaks real well.
I'm still having trouble doing a video of my own stuff. I am not a toot my own horn guy, but I do love to talk. So wind me up and just let me go. Yeah. This is, interactive certainly between us, and I hope the audience gets a few laughs and a few ideas. I'm just not a toot my own horn guy, but I'm trying with the videos.
Yeah, well, and the thing you got to look at it, not look at it that you're tooting your own horn. You're providing something to an audience that is wanting some content, and you have stuff to show that people will learn and help their hobby out better. That's that's how I look at it. That's why I started what I'm doing. I want to bring information.
I hope so. I hope that's I do get enough thanks, and I will thank you again. Every time that you put my name out, I gain 20, 30 subscribers.
Oh, that's awesome.
Put up or shut up. I'm, still under 1,000. But I think I'm about 678 or 648 or something. So, you always give me a boost of 20, 25 every
that's
once
great
in a while.
To hear.
So it's, I'm trying to, I thank you again for that.
Oh, I'm so well, like I said, we support each other. I'm always willing to do that. I support what you're doing. You've been.
I support people. Yeah. We're not. Professional builders, whatever. We're not superstars of model building, but we have a good time.
Yeah, absolutely.
And if someone else can have a good time with us, that's what's important to me in the hobby.
Exactly, because my whole thing is why I've been doing this show for so long, and been reaching out and meeting so many other of the other YouTubers and content creators. Is it's not a competition with us. We've all become such good friends. I have developed some of the greatest friendships around the even the world. Really, we got a couple guys in other countries.
Yeah,
like you. I think it's become a really cool group of people that we bounce ideas off each other and collaborate and help. We're not competing against one another. Even if every single one of us did the exact same subject, we'll all do it different, and everybody will watch them, and it's cool.
Yep. I mean, we're a couple thousand miles away from each other.
Yeah.
We've never met in person, but it's like we're old friends.
Yeah.
I'm getting that way with some of the other guys too. The guys on, in the Builders Club, a few guys there. Even BG, he's a great guy. He seems like I like learning from him. I like watching his videos. And you guys are pretty tight.
Yeah.
It's handy that you live close.
I know. And what kills me is we've lived close for, I think, I don't know, more than 10 years and didn't know it. And we just met finally. I realized that he lived nearby and contacted him. And that was that. Yeah. I'm so grateful for that this brought me to find a friend like him. And then I met other guys and I there's quite a group there.
Louis Myers down your way.
What's that?
Is it Louis Meyer that's down your way?
Yeah, Louis. And I got to know Louis through the Builders Club because I asked him, because he's always the guy that Salvino's will come out with a kit in about an hour and a half. He'll have it built. And he takes great pictures of his models. Yep. And so that's how I contacted him and say, hey, do you mind if I use your photographs in my video? And I'll put your name up there because I'm talking about this. Might as well show it. And he's done that a lot for me. And then it's like, he lives like 20 minutes from me.
Oh, there you go.
Are you kidding me? So, we ended up hooking up, and it's so cool. It's great. We got a bunch of YouTubers here.
Yeah, mistakenly, he gave you his address, and now you go to his place.
Yeah, reluctantly. I always know they're home, and I'm.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Look at that! I even moved my camera. So
there you go.
So dramatic.
No.
And I know they're there, but
there's a little light in the back room, and you're tapping on the windows. And
and the
Phoenix Finest show up, and hey.
It seems like everybody does that to me. I don't know why.
Yeah.
But Pat, I have you on to talk about you. Let's hear it. I want to know, how did this all start? When did you start building model cars? What got you into model cars? What are your interests? Let's hear it.
Well, let's go. My mother's best friend at the time, her younger brother, this goes back to late 60s. That's how old I am, kid.
Whoa.
I was a youthful 5 or 6 years old when I first watched somebody build a model car. And that was pretty cool. And then he built another one, and he gave me the previous one that he had built, and I wrecked it, of course, playing with it, but I was kind of hooked. And shortly after that, I think Christmas of 72, I started asking for model cars. So I was 8, 9 years old. Yeah, Christmas of 72 was probably, and I got, let's go back to the Johan days. I got the Fast Eddie Sharpman Maverick, or some Comet, whichever it was, the Maverick or the Comet. And I got a smattering of paints, little tester square bottles, and some horrible white brushes. And I proceeded to get paint and thinner on Mom's favorite tablecloth, building that model on Christmas Day. And she had a small panic attack because it was a nice lace thing that, maybe got handed down from royalty or something. I'm not sure. But,
a rare heirloom.
Yes, it was. And we couldn't get it out with thinner, and we made it worse. But I was hooked from then. So I go back to Dougie probably late 60s, first showing me and cars. Here's my story. My parents met. They had businesses across the street from each other, our families. My mom's side had a restaurant, and my dad's side, the other side, we had a Texaco station with a towing department. My dad took care of the towing, so it was always cars. I didn't say mama or dad. Apparently, I said car first things because I had Matchboxes and Hot Wheels handed to me left and right. So car was, it was always in my mind. And I had to go out in the car and we had to go out in the truck. And it was just that kind of thing. And if I followed mom's side of the family, I'd be a chef or something by now. But now I'm building model cars. So
oh, wow.
Figure. It started then. So let's go. I'm going to be in August. I'm going to be 59.
Oh, really?
I'm going to be 59 in August. And
in September, I'll be 56. So.
Yeah, we're getting
not
up
far
there.
behind you.
So let's go, 52 odd years. Now, there were breaks, obviously, but I'd always, always building models from then and didn't, it took my teenage years off a little bit, but I'd still pick one up here and there. We had a good hobby shop. I moved back and forth from where I live right now, Windsor, Ontario, and Toronto, the general Toronto area. So we had a couple of good hobby shops up in Toronto. I'd visit them. I'd come home with a kit once in a while and just got into race cars. I, started like, oh, okay, I like this. So my first race car model was the MPC Cuckoo Marlin Monte Carlo.
Nice one.
Yeah. And that was a challenge for, even 13-year-old. It's a challenge for us 58-year-olds, to build that original kit. The roll cage and whatnot and the sliding suspension. Now that we're used to it. But, that was a tough build and I was a little disappointed, but I just kept on going. And I really liked race cars, NASCAR. And I'm not a NASCAR hillbilly, if you will. I'm not insulting anybody. I appreciate NASCAR racing. I loved oval track. So that's what I'm building. And there's other stuff. I actually pickup trucks, vans. I'll build a little bit of everything. I'm a shelf builder. I don't worry too much about super detailing. I have in the past bought lots of detailing parts and whatnot, but I just can't get into them. And now, as I'm getting older, my eyesight's so we're not detailing as much. We're getting a nice finish on the outside, and as long as they go on those AMT cases, then I'm happy. I don't, that's what I like.
It sounds like what you're doing is you're enjoying the hobby, and
I really am.
That's the key.
Yeah, I've had times in the past in Toronto. I belonged to a bunch of different clubs over the years. We'd splinter. Club splinter. They break away from each other and they start a new bunch of guys over here. And it got to the point where I was actually before I moved back here, 17 years ago now, I guess. I was the president of Group 25, which is the largest model car club. That
club is like, they're my hero club. I have
really.
Oh, I have such admiration. I'm actually on their Facebook group. I saw that Plymouth dealership.
Oh, yeah.
That is still going on. Somebody just posted a recent picture. One of the guys, they just put it out. They were at a parking lot.
Took it to a cruise night. Yep.
Yeah. And it's just like, that thing is from the 80s. I saw a picture and a scale auto of it.
Yep.
And I was enthralled. And anytime I saw anything about Group 25, I was like, now that is the model car club.
For those of us that used to go to the NNL Nationals, Toledo, as people would call it.
Yeah.
That even appeared, and I wasn't in the club at the time, in the 80s, in room number 3. That appeared a couple times. If you remember the Toledo, the Mud Hens, Lucas County Fairground layout, that appeared there a number of times. They'd trek it down from Toronto to Toledo for the weekend, set it out on display, and it would still get rave reviews then.
Yeah, that thing is.
It's been restored and renovated, restored. It's been changed to a hot rod dealership, to different dealerships, but the boys still put it back together.
That is so
move that thing around. Gets its bumps and bruises, and that's always been a hallmark of that club.
Yeah,
it's a good talking point. That the dealership is, very proud of that.
The thing about that dealership is, it showed what a great group that was, and look, they're still going today. So many. Yep. I've seen lots of really great groups. They start out wonderful, and there'll be an ego or something that'll create a cancer in them and destroy them. And it looks like they don't last that long. Oh, here comes the
senior producer.
Yeah, he's been now brought back up. Now he's senior producer. I knew he was going to come in to say hi.
What's up, Fee?
Hey, Felix, come on here. But it was a
ta-da.
Say hi. But that just showed so much. I got to put it back down and put my ears back in. That showed so much of.
I can't hear you. Oh, yes.
That showed so much of what a really close group it was of guys that were just there for one reason and one reason only, and they worked together. And it is something for them to be around as long as they have. Come on up. To be around as long as they have. He de-eared me. For them to be around as long as they have, it's just something that everyone. That's why I admire them so much.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's a centerpiece. It's and there's at least when I was there was a committee, or we'd have a side group of guys that just worked on some guys weren't interested in working on the dealership, and some guys, okay, let's clean this place up. Let's put a new piece of brick on the side. Let's paint it. So we had a committee of that were in charge. We had a guy. He's not in the club anymore. He moved away, but he would transport it around. We did something called the Royal We as Group 25. We had something called the Hobby Show in Toronto, and it was usually early November of the year, and it would be everything hobby of Toronto. You'd get everything from wood burning to train layouts to RC tracks, and we would have the display somewhere, usually up in the front room of the hobby show. These guys would transport it to the show on Thursday night to set up, because it was a Friday, Saturday, Sunday, general admission. Come on in and look at it. So we had a dedicated group of movers and repairers. A wonderful set of guys.
Yeah, and that thing has to be, that takes some dedication to transport that and be dedicated to showing it, because it represented your club. And I don't know, to me that thing just, I don't know, it struck me at an early time when I was just getting into model cars. I think it was in the first magazine I got.
I'm glad that it's held for something. It's held for a lot of people. Those of us that have worked on it and have moved it, have hauled it around. It's still important to us as well. But I'm glad it reached out to someone who's never seen it in person, but has seen photos and seen coverage. And I'm glad it's still going strong. I've brought it up many times on my shows all throughout the years, and I am I'm actually always thought about putting together a little documentary video about it. I'd like to get in touch with some. I have unpublished photos of that for you. I can always send.
That would be really cool to do, because I think something like that, it's inspirational. I think it's something, it's historic. It's very historic to our hobby. It's very important to our hobby. And as the years roll on and new people come in, people are starting to, that's why I do the thing about the old scale autos. People are starting to not know, not forgetting, not knowing about what that all these clubs and all these great guys and all these great shows back in the days are why we have what we have today. All the cottage industries that were around that aren't around anymore. All that kind of stuff. It is I think it's an important thing. That was something that I wanted my channel to cover, was keeping the old history alive and known.
Well, you've done well. You've done well so far that I've seen.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Something I really strive for.
Anything I can do to help.
That's great. I will be calling it. Maybe that'll be something you and I can work on together.
I'll scan some
really
stuff,
would love to do that.
Yep.
I admire the heck out of those guys. You said you were the president, or?
It's I was for a couple of terms. And what was going on, it was getting, and I don't want to criticize anyone in the past, just I made things a little different. Guys were going in and just sitting there, and they would bring in their latest build, and okay, we talk about business, we talk about the budget. It's a nonprofit, so the budget we had, because there's a contest. There's actually 2 shows a year. One is what's called the slot car and model car swap meets in February or March, and we fill a gymnasium and a side room. Keep saying we. I'm still part of the club, I guess, because it'll always be there. I'm so proud of it. And in September, I think 26th this year will be the contest, and I'm not sure which annual, but contest has been going a long time. So that's what they would talk about, is what they're going to spend on, who's like, we had a show committee when I was there, and we had guys don't want to necessarily get involved. They want to commit a show and model, which is fantastic.
Yeah. And that's fine.
If we can get you to the local community center, get you away from the wife, the girlfriend, or whatever in these accepting times, and have bring your lunch, bring your dinner with you, grab a burger and sit there and just talk about model cars and show what you built. That's great. Some of us were more participative, if that's a word. I'm not sure.
It works for me.
It got to the point where, but there would be 4 or 5 guys sitting up at the front, which were the president, vice president, the secretary, the newsletter producer, and we'd all sit around. Well, when I got to be president, as a regular member, I was bringing my fishing tackle box full of parts, and I would sit there and build, because it wasn't, bye, Felix. Bye. Oh, he's not buying. He faked me out. Okay. Sorry if I'm watching.
He's just making sure that we're doing. He's just making sure that we are doing everything correctly.
Well, that's the senior producer for you.
That's right.
Anyway, so I'd bring my tackle box full of model parts and glue, and I'd sit there and build, and people would look at me like I had 2 heads and going, well, we can do that? I said, why not? We talk about 15 minutes worth of business in a 3-hour meeting, and we jack around and we, talk to each other and have a good time, or we can sit and build quietly. And I still get compliments. They say, when you started bringing your toolbox, we were sitting there building. That was the best times. That's why we made you president. I was like, again, not tooting my own horn, but I get involved in it, is that I started walking around when I was elected president. I would walk around to each guy and talk to them. I wouldn't sit up at the front desk, and it was too official for me.
Yeah.
So the club has given me everything, and I've given everything I can to that club. So
that's awesome.
Very, very proud of them.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's that was my best times.
Oh, that's neat. That's neat. That's some good memories then. Yeah, I know that some of the clubs that I've been in the past year, and then when I lived in Virginia, I have some great memories, it's also, and it's so cool starting this new club we got going here in Phoenix, the way it took off. It's nice. We're creating new ones. It's been really, really helpful for my hobby, because I haven't been in a club for like 11 or 12 years, and a couple other guys, we haven't been involved in any clubs for a couple of years. And now this all started, and meeting all these new guys, and wow, it's just every meeting that we look forward to and just have such a good time at.
Well,
everybody's just enjoying themselves.
Yeah. Now we've got a club here in Windsor, and it's everything club. It's mostly military builders, mostly airplane guys, because we actually meet at the hangar at Windsor Airport. It's part of the Canadian Aero. Oh gosh, see, I forgot my notes now. We're just starting up this club, or it's been a couple of years, but Canadian Airlining Museum. I'll get the exact name, and we'll put it down here at the bottom. So we're meeting at the hangar, and it's all good, and we have a show here and stuff, which is great. It's growing. We had even through COVID times, we had a show last year. People came from Toronto. Again, that's about a 4-hour drive, and you know they are fine scale guys that have been featured in fine scale have come down, and you know certainly they came down and got the trophies and the prizes and whatnot. But we had a very successful show for being COVID, for being masked up, because you know in Canada, and you know if you were in a public building or a building that belonged to the Canadian government, which the hangar does, you had to be fully masked. So it was good for that. We did well. And I even crossed the border sometimes over to just the outskirts of Detroit, Dearborn. Everyone knows Dearborn, Michigan, I would assume. You know, where all your big heavy metal came from in the 50s and 60s, all your big American iron. Yeah, we have a club there as well. I'm just not a big fan of crossing the border right now. Yeah. And only because we have to show not just ID, but we have to show our COVID stats coming back into Canada. Oh, and yeah. Like I'm fully vaxxed and everything because I have health issues that I need to be fully vaxxed. But coming back in, I mean, yes, it's a little thing on my smartphone, but you know what? I'm just it's
just an aggravating little.
I'm not enthused about doing it, and I love the guys over there. There's over 100 guys on the roster in that club, but we see about 50 guys and there's usually the same 50 guys per meeting. And that's once a month. So the Downriver Model Car Club in Dearborn, or based in Dearborn, that's me, you know, up until now sitting in my basement building and doing a lot of online stuff, but not enough building.
Yeah, I know. I bet sometimes the tinkering on the online takes you away from your building time.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. So, yeah, there is a another Canadian that's not as active or not lately, but Lazy-Eyed Modeler. Peter McDonald, and he's from about an hour north of Toronto, part of Group 25 for decades, really. Yeah. He and his wife would handle admissions at our contests in Toronto. He'd come down early in the morning. He'd come down for the hobby show, as I mentioned earlier, and they'd set up like on the Thursday night. And, yeah, he was still a working guy. He wasn't retired at the time, so he would work his day, drive down to Toronto for an hour and a bit, and help us set up, and then drive back home. You know, there's a dedicated guy to the hobby. Yeah, that's so if you look up Lazy-Eyed Modeler on YouTube, again, there hasn't been anything recently, but
that could just be. I haven't done this yet in this show.
What's that?
I didn't get a good snap. There we go. I got to put it right here. I haven't done it yet. There.
Yep.
Lazy-Eyed Modeler.
There we go. Yeah, so it's there's a number of nice guys. There's a number of great guys in this hobby. There's a lot of nice guys. So, you know,
well, you know,
more Canadian content, I don't know. Again, I was
that's where you come in. I think that you have an access to
the Canadian flag.
Well, you know, you have access to reporting on. There's a lot of great things just with that club up there. Shows you how many guys are in it. So you have some great shows up in there, and you know when it gets a little easier to cross the border, then you go to those great shows up there in the Detroit area. That's you're the guy to cover that.
Yippee-ki-yay, eh?
Yeah, I think so. It looks like they're negotiating, like other government people are negotiating with our Prime Minister right now, Prime Minister Trudeau, is that we drop this having to show your vaccine status coming back into the country.
Yeah.
That's keeping a lot of people from crossing the border.
Yeah.
That should be gone by November, I think November 12th.
Oh, good.
Sunday,
Good.
November 12th is that show. So we're a few months off. I don't expect any border problems by then.
That'll be nice.
Yeah. That's
because it isn't very, in past, it always was a very easy border to cross. I mean, it was like nothing.
Yeah.
We used to take family afternoon trips up to go to the SeaWorld in Ontario.
Sure, yeah, Niagara Falls.
I went there all the time, man. Niagara Falls and all that.
So being an Olean, you weren't terribly far from Mike, from Mike's Decals. You're probably less than an hour.
Probably, yeah. He was just over in Pennsylvania.
Maybe, I'm not sure if I'm up to the challenge. I'm going to try. Maybe I need to carry the banner and
yeah, you should
carry the flag for Canada. But I'm thinking that, let's different ways of doing content, but going to shows and actually recording at shows.
Well, there's a couple things. There's a couple things. Just put this in your head.
Yeah.
You just on your own, no matter what you do, it's going to be unique to you. So don't worry about, I don't think I should do this because the other guys does that.
Oh, no.
Like I said, there's a whole bunch of us. We cover the same exact thing. We'll do an episode on the same exact thing, and we all do it a little different. So never worry about that. But I definitely do think, I think you are the guy to handle I mean, you're so involved in the hobby. You go to these shows, you just do it, and then you'll get the hang of it. Yeah. And the first one might be an absolute train wreck. So what? Yeah. That means the next one will only be a car crash.
The first one is our local club show at the hangar in October. So if that's the test run, if that's the train derailment and crash and burn, then sorry, but I'm going to try.
You'll learn something.
Yep, I'm going to try it, and it won't be just model cars because, like I said, it's a multi. It's a lot. There were a lot of tanks, a lot of planes. A little bit of everything.
That's okay, man. Models are models, man.
And actually, we have. Windsor, Ontario owns a Lancaster bomber.
I heard, that's right. You told me about that.
Yeah, we're restoring it. It's for taxiing. It won't be flight worthy, but we own one of the few Lancasters that are still around, and they're restoring. They're going through it, so I could show some pictures of the planes in the hangar and whatnot. But you know what? I think you've sparked me into something. Maybe quite wonderful.
Yes. Do it. You're the guy.
Yep. Okay. Well, I'm going to take
definitely the guy. I have total faith in you. I think what you do.
I'm glad you do.
Just take it as just go out there, do it, and learn, and then and they get better. I look at my Tim Brown and I talked about this. He has a tendency. He does so many videos and he banks them. And he has videos that he'd done a long time ago, and they're on YouTube, but they're not made public yet. And then what he does whenever he has a slow time, he has these extra banked videos. He put one up that was probably 2 years old when he put it up. Really? And I basically said, you know what? I don't think you should do that, Tim. When it popped up, I was like, holy cow, I could tell it was an old one. Not a bad video. By all means, if you got them, get those out and get them gone. Said, because you do videos so much better now.
Oh, yeah.
When you put out one of your old videos, you're now stepping backwards. And he was like, and it was like, you sometimes you don't realize it yourself. So it's always fun. You got to go back and look at some of the old ones and see how much you've developed. And we all do. All our videos get so much better. There's a few videos that I might redo because of that. I know BG's got a couple videos he wants to redo. Just because to re-up it, it's not the quality it is today. So you're going to go through that. So just do it, learn, put it up on YouTube and let it ride and build it and they will come.
Yep. Well, I think, experiencing it, going through it, and the highs and lows and whatever will, again, you learn from every experience. So
Exactly.
YouTube is going out to the general public. It's not going out to it as a potential of 8 billion people, but
Exactly.
how many people are watching, model car related, or
Yeah, model
there's
car
enough.
is so small, but
Yeah.
pretty much everybody who builds
Yep.
a model car watches YouTube and watches us.
I've seen people, they put their gambling, but they're like their slot machine videos and stuff up, or their coin pusher machines. There's a video for everything.
You're watching the Lucas C channel on YouTube.
So yeah, you just get out there and do it, and I really think you're the guy. I want to see some Canadian shows, man.
Okay. Snow. I can't give you snow until like December.
Do a nice Christmas one.
Ooh, you know what?
Always got to do.
Now that you bring that up,
yeah.
Our December meeting at the Downriver Model Car Club, we have a gift exchange.
Dude, do your meetings.
Yeah.
I can't believe, since I've been doing the model car mafia meeting, I can't believe more guys aren't doing their meetings. Dude, people want to. I get so many people that they just, man, I wish I had a model car club like that. And then when they see the club videos, it gives people an inspiration to how to do their clubs. So we're never gonna. We need more clubs. More clubs means possible more shows.
Yeah. Well, or enthusiastic existing clubs. Sometimes we need to breathe some life back into existing clubs.
Yes.
I think, and maybe not sometimes, maybe a lot of the time. And I'm happy with the way things are going with our local club here. Dearborn, the Downriver guys have continued on. Things are good there. It's a level pond for them right now. There's not a lot of waves. You show up, you pay your membership, a very, very simple membership. Same with any of the three groups that I've talked about today, is everything seems pretty even keel. With our Windsor Club, we're learning because we're growing, we're newish. We're multi, we're military, we're aircraft. So not just cars. So it's mostly aircraft.
Yeah. Well, that's cool though. I'm starting to see something more in our hobby where everything used to be so split up, and model car guys wouldn't have any interest in planes and tanks and stuff. You're starting to see a new generation, I guess, of model car builders that are more open to all the other stuff too. So
you know what? Yeah, but if you look at the median age of all of our clubs, there's not a lot of young guys coming in. We're seeing some interest at our shows, and the odd one does show up for meetings, and they give it a try, and they come back or they don't. We had a couple of young guys join the local club just before COVID, and actually we did have a couple of meetings during COVID, all masked up and everything, and they were enthusiastic. So
that's cool. Yeah, but when I say a new generation, I'm not meaning young guys. There are a lot, and especially happened over COVID because of the lockdowns, that the hobby boomed.
Yes.
It really boomed, and these guys are sticking with it, because I have met so many builders that are in their 40s and 50s and 60s, and I get comments from guys, and the YouTube stuff that we do, that's why what we do is so important, is bringing new people in the hobby. When you say new people, and I've done this before, not necessarily the young people are the future of the hobby.
Yeah.
People are the future of the hobby who haven't done it, or maybe they did it when they were a little kid. But I knew a lot of people that never even built hot models before, that I'm 52 years old, and I think this is cool. I'm going to start doing it. We got a couple guys even in the club, never built models before. So you see a lot of older people. I saw that years ago with my resin casting company. I was selling to guys that I just got into model. I'm 42 years old. I never built models, even as a kid. I didn't really build much models as a kid. I got into it at 18. I was young, but it wasn't a little kid thing for me. I had an interest. But that is the future. That is when I say a new generation. And I see this 50-year-old guy coming into the hobby, for the first time in his 50s. And he's more up to, I love model cars, but I'm going to build that Space 1999 Eagle, and I'm going to build that new tank coming out from Andy's, because that 16 scale Sherman looks really cool. And and all of a sudden they have an interest in they just love models. So I think we're seeing more of that. So showing your club, I think, would be still a really great thing. And
what you just discussed is something that Adam at Windsor Hobbies has said. He said people have come in and they're in their 30s and 40s coming back into the hobby. So they're coming back, or they were looking for something to do during COVID when we had a pretty strong lockdown here. You guys
had that.
We were basically, you can go to the grocery store, but you can't go to your local hobby shop. He had to either deliver to you if he was up to it, and that was the older owners, which Jerry did, and that was great, or curbside service, or it's like, so we were very locked down. And I'm not sure how it worked wherever else you people are.
We had it for about 6 weeks, and Andy
we had months.
Yeah, I know.
Months of lockdown.
Some states were different here in the US. Arizona stayed pretty normal. We really didn't feel it like a lot of people did. They shut us down for about 6 weeks. I mean, Andy was shut down for 6 weeks, and he would go in on Fridays and to do YouTube videos and work on a couple of things. He was closed, but he offered some curbside at that time.
Sure. Yeah. And that's so it's that brought a lot of people apparently out of the woodwork that have been. I need something to do. I'm going stir crazy, and they would buy a kit off the shelf and replace their glues, cements, paints, and whatnot. And Adam said, "Oh yeah, people that have been coming here forever appreciate the new ownership, and people that haven't been here ever in their lives, appreciate that we're here." So the hobby, everyone talks about the hobby being dead. You said it earlier.
Yeah, it's never been more alive.
And I don't see it. My particular part of the hobby is booming.
Yeah.
I've never had this much of a paint collection or choice of paint when I go to my local store.
That's the thing. There's more product coming out. I'm constantly discovering new things. That's why I'm always doing product videos. No, this hobby is far from it.
Oh, exactly.
Andy's proof of it.
Exactly.
Every year has been the better year for him.
Yep. And again, they're there less than a year, but Windsor Hobbies, they're very happy with the progress they've made.
They sound like a keeper. They're going to be staying for a while.
Oh, they're good folks. They really are.
Awesome. That's really awesome.
Early 50s.
Excellent.
And it's actually
proud of them.
We joke about them expanding already. They've been in the location 11 months, and I said, "So when you get a bigger store?" And he looked at me with his eyes, and he rolled them. He said, "My wife and I have discussed that same thing right now."
Yeah.
And it's like it's a postage stamp store right now, but they've made so much of the space by brightening it up, and people are walking in off the street having a grand old time. So
that's awesome.
The hobby's not dead, people.
It is not dead.
It's it's anyone that says so is a fool, and the hobby is what you make it. And
it's better than it's ever been.
I can't, the hobby's what you make it, and it's better than it's ever been.
Better than it's ever been.
I can subscribe to that, absolutely, because I'm getting everything and more that I need. I'm getting kits mailed right to my door. Through a subscription service, through an American manufacturer.
And that's something.
The only way that could be better if it was a Canadian manufacturer. I can walk to my local store. I'm so lucky. I hear of guys that have to mail order, that have to drive for 8-9 hours to get to a hobby shop, And it's mostly RC and a few things. I consider myself very lucky. Yes. And those of you in a major center who have got some hobby shops to go to, patronize them, go to them, spend your money.
Support them.
Oh, exactly.
Yeah. I know you love your 40% coupons at everybody likes to save money. Of course. You love your 40% coupons and going to Hobby Lobby, but throw a little bit and just bite the bullet and take care of your local hobby shop and keep them alive. You're going to be all sad when they're gone.
Well, that's it. They're nice people. They're opening,
not ripping you off.
They're opening their doors for you. Go buy your paint and your number 11 blades at their place or something.
Yeah.
If you got to, we have Michael's up here, which is kind of the Hobby Lobby on a smaller scale, the same kind of thing. And they offer the coupons. I've taken advantage on occasion, but not that often. But I'd rather go to my local guy, but I got more behind me and over there and in my storage unit than I'll ever build in 50 lifetimes.
And you're going to build another, you're going to buy another model, and you're going to buy another model, and you're going to buy another model. It never stops.
I have some pre-ordered from our friends at Salvino's. I have the, I look out for stuff for the guy at the hobby shop because somebody asks for hey, have you got a, 47 Canardly? Hey, Pat will have one, and I'll call him, and I'll go to my storage unit, and I'll have what the guy needs. I met in person local people that, because, Adam said, Pat will probably have that. I'll email him. Sure enough, I've got it in storage. So I was like,
wow, that's nice.
And I love to meet people like that. And now he's in the Builders Club. So
that's excellent. That's excellent. That's
he's excellent. A local guy, but a half an hour away. And, so again, this has been exhausting, but this has been a blast.
Excellent.
We talked about it literally for months.
Yeah. I'm glad finally we made it happen.
We go back over 20 years.
Yep.
Probably close to 25 if we're looking at the late 90s.
Good fucking.
Yeah. I think the late 90s are about 25 years ago now, which is scary. And we have so much more to talk about.
Oh, and we will. We'll definitely have phone conversations and stuff like that too.
Yes.
Well, I tell you what, Pat, I'm having a real good time having these talks with you. I want to continue on. So you know what I want to do? I want to go ahead. We're going to end this as part 1. And I think we're going to continue on. And I think we're going to do a part 2. You're the first one. You're the first one we're doing 2 parts.
Yeah, I told you I can talk.
You can. And I want to talk more because you got some good stuff to say. We got a lot of good stuff to talk about. It's
yeah.
And so we're going to close this part 1 out, and then everybody next week we'll have the second part to Pat Redmond's and Lucas's little talk about model cars and stuff. And but in the meantime, you go over and you check out this man's channel. At the end of this video, there's a little key there, a little round key there to click on to go over there and get to his channel and join. And I will also have in the description below a link to his channel. Go check it out. Give him a little try, give him a little drive around the block, tell him what you think, and give him a sub. Pat,
thank you.
Thanks a bunch. But we're going to continue on this conversation.
Yeah.
You and I, and then everybody else will come back next week.
Excellent.
So,
Excellent.
Thanks a bunch, people. And, well, you know what we say here. We build model cars. Why do we build them, Pat?
Because it's fun.
There you go. Here's the producers.